All right. Okay. Thanks everyone for dealing with our messy situation. Janice, want to come and light the chalice for us? Which is this thing?
Can't, it's really.
Like the can.
Yeah, I can light, use a match to light this candle. Hey, Cherie. Oh, yeah. Just getting started, Cherie.
Then I gotta leave that.
Yeah.
I just don't it.
All right, so welcome to our December Faith+Works. Thanks, Karen. So Candlelight Communion, which and Sweetness Swap, which in the past few years has involved folks sharing poems and stories from the past year because we couldn't in person. So we're back to, we've got some cookies afterwards, thanks to those who brought some. We also had our Candlelight Communion. Thanks again to those of us who brought candles. We'll get to take some at the end, but I want to open with first some opening words, and I believe, are welcoming Margot formally to join the congregation today. So we have our membership book.
Welcome.
I'm gonna join the. Yes.
So the opening words I picked today, some of you will know the poem Louise Glick. She passed earlier this year. Some of you will know the poet Louise Glick. She passed earlier this year. And I'm going to read one poem that speaks to me a little bit of both the sort of, let's say, theology of our little congregation here, but also to things I learned from Margot. So before we get Margot signed into the book, I'll open this with this poem from Wild Iris. Just titled Matins. You want to know how I spend my time? I walk the front lawn, pretending to be weeding. You ought to know I'm never weeding, on my knees, pulling clumps of clover from the flower beds. In fact, I'm looking for courage, for some evidence my life will change, though it takes forever, checking each clump for the symbolic leaf. And soon the summer is ending, already the leaves turning, always the sick trees going first, the dying turning brilliant yellow, while a few dark birds perform their curfew of music. You want to see my hands, as empty now as the first note, or was the point always to continue without a sign? So with that, we don't really have like a big ritual around getting the book signed, but I figure given that Margot is on Zoom, Margot, do you want to pick someone to write your name in the book for you?
Oh, yes. Mindy, would you write my name?
I would be honored to write your name. What a pleasure to have you join our congregation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to join. I
I
know.
noticed that Margot didn't join when we were at church. She waited for us to become a congregation.
Yes.
Maybe she becomes a symbol to other people. Or allergic to church.
Yes, as a congregation. And I realized, yeah, they stand for all the things that I believe in. So
Great, well, this is very exciting. Um,
Done, Margot.
Hey.
oh, yay. Thank you. Thank
But rather than doing the sharing of poems and reflections and stories that we've done the past few years, we thought we'd inaugurate our new old organ, thanks to Jane's connection. Anthony shared with us the last couple months, some details about how the organ works. But my favorite thing about the organ is a story that your friend, whose name is Bob Foster, shared about how his family came across this organ. He said that he was very young and on a family vacation in Vermont, and his family came across this organ on a tall functioning, painted all black at a yard sale, and they bought it for $20. Well, my favorite part of the story is he said that this was one of the first days of their 2-week road trip vacation around Vermont, and so they spent the remainder of the trip constantly checking that it was secured to the roof of their car, which is just such a delightful thing to know about our new organ friend. Anyway, so we've got three little sets of organ music today, and at some point we'll light up candles as well. So Anthony's going to play a piece or 2 or 3. Then Bill will play a short selection, and then we'll close with hey Mona, hey Andy. We'll close with 2 pieces that I'll play. One is a newly commissioned piece by Margaret Simmons. She'll speak a little bit about the composition. Yeah. And hey Mona, and then I have a little thing. Anyway, over to you, Anthony. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's all right. That's probably the least hazardous place I've been today, so it's so absolutely no idea these pieces are going to sound like from this one. I'll play 3 pieces for you if you can stand it. They're all pieces that were written for written for the pipe organ, essentially 18th century music, which makes it about 100 years older than this instrument. 1 German, 1 Italian, and 1 French. So we're evenly covered, at least from the European sense. When these organs were in vogue, there was a time when they were actually more plentiful and more popular than upright pianos. They were everywhere, and over the years, I've restored a lot of these instruments, whenever someone approaches me with that, I have to kind of venture into a covenant with them. I will tell them that yes, it's old, and sometimes things that are old are worth a great deal of money. Unfortunately, the more of something there is, the less it's worth. So if you want to restore this instrument because you think you're going to have something really pretty that you can then turn around, I guess flip, as they say, and finance your child's college education, let's not do that because you'll be disappointed. And if you think you're going to even finance your next vacation, let's not do that because you'll be disappointed. However, if you want to learn to play it, then I will give you the best possible deal on the restoration you can imagine. I did restore an organ a lot like this. I think it was Nesty, a young couple, and they managed to decide they were going to start a bar and grill downtown in the city. It's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. And somehow in a story, kind of like the one that was told about acquiring this organ, they had gotten this thing, and the bellows was gone. But it wasn't painted black. It was still had a nice wood color. And he said, well, can you restore it for us? So I didn't quite strap it up with my car. I had to get a U-Haul trailer and picked it up and took it back to the shop and took it all apart and cleaned out the reeds and fixed a few things that the field mice or the closet mice, the door mice, or whatever, decided to make into lunch at some point. And I restored the bellows, and it worked pretty well. And as I usually do, I made a couple of scratch recordings just to prove that it works. And put it in the archives and brought it back to them and set it up in their little bar, which is quite attractive looking, and went with the decor. And I played it for them. And they said, "Oh, it sounds like an organ." And I said, "Indeed." Well, we thought it was going to sound like a piano. Oh, well, I'm afraid there's nothing I can do about that. They did ask me, well, how much would it cost to convert it into a piano? Right, yes. And being a little bit disgruntled, by the way, you should know I've been described as a kind man, not necessarily a nice one. So I decided to tell them, well, the first thing we need is a foundry. Because you see, it's a non-standard size. Even though some little thumb pianos aren't that size, you have to actually custom build a frame. Oh, and then by the way, this case would not actually support that frame, so I have to reinforce the case. And I went into this long list, and I could see them becoming crestfallen. What do you think all that will cost? More than I make in a year, and regrettably more than you're probably going to clear your first year in business. We can learn to live with it as an organ, you know. There it sits, still to be said. I'm sorry, that was a story that was germane to nothing. But so this is the only composer, unless you're a real musicology geek, this is the only composer of the three that you will recognize. Johannes Pachelbel, of canon and E major fame. I got a bit of pickup work once with a rock band and playing the Hammond B3 organ. And, you know, the lead guitarist was moving around, so we're getting ready to start the recording session, and the bass players, wow, you know, you just played the first four notes of Pachelbel's canon, and the lead guitarist said, "What? Yeah, Pachelbel, he was like this, you know, one-hit wonder from the 1900s or something." I almost forgot my pacifist vows. Okay, I'll stop telling stories and start playing.
Oh, man.
Yeah. This has happened on this reorgan only in my imagination, so mercifully, all of us is short. I doubt, just pull them all out and see what happens. All this kind of stuff. Yeah. Thank you. Very kind.
Is the sound was distorted.
Yeah.
We really-
Margot, thank you for the heads up.
Yeah, Frank said that too, said first.
We didn't hear it at all.
No, I couldn't
Right.
hear it.
Maybe too close or you may be too far.
Yeah, there's a million things it could be. I'm working on it. Might not be perfect for a short minute, but bear with us.
Yeah, and then the
If you want to keep going, Anthony, and I'll
Okay.
play with it.
So
Yeah.
this next piece is probably more of a meditative kind of piece. It's by a Italian composer, Domenico's Poet. And he harkens back to the end of the 17th and beginning of the 18th centuries. Again, it could be touch and go. How this is going to happen? Kind of, you know, all of this music is written for organs with multiple keyboards and pedal boards and things like that. So I'm kind of arranging this as I go along, but you know, it's
That's
almost overripe vegetables yet, so I'm
Yeah.
This will be a little bit of a gentler sound of the organ. ahead and look at the French Baroque, Jean Francois Landreau is something you've never heard of, but that's okay. I think one of the unsung heroes of the French Baroque. I don't know, some of this is kind of working, so maybe this will too. We'll see.
It sounds great to me, not knowing anything.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
Well, you know, I'm kind of, you know, this morning I played a kind of mechanical action pipe organ. You know, one of these things. It's a pipe organ. There's no electricity involved whatsoever. So it's anyway. It takes an enormous amount of will and effort to press these keys and do it with any kind of grace. But I've played those kind of instruments for a very, very long time. So anytime I'm confronted with something like this, with sort of you look at it, some of you might even have, I don't, but some of you might actually have the brain power to stare at one of those keys and get the move. They'll do it if you try hard enough. It's a feather-light kind of action. So, you know, every now and then I'm getting 2 for the price of 1, but that's okay.
That was so.
Thank you for your indulgence. Stick around, well, we have some other folks, we're gonna do other wonderful things, I'm actually certain, I wanna stick around and hear some of you folks play, but if I do have to get up, please understand, it's not lack of interest, it's, I have to be back in New York City to, play for a recital and, you know, bills to pay and all that, so.
Thank you, Anthony.
Bill, you're up next.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I will say that, and this is speaking from the bottom of my heart, that I am really happy. This was a gift. This is a gift to this church. And I, for one, support organ donors. Check back my driver's license. It's ticked off on that. I'm a big fan of organ donors. As mentioned,
I'm not the only one with an organist tumor too. It's,
the keys, these keys are slightly smaller than the regular pianoforte. So as mentioned, you will get often 2 for the price of 1, maybe 3, depending on how many cracks I would play. My preparation for it was a Stairmaster at the gym, and that's about it. So we'll see. I'll just play a mashup of whatever I feel. Perhaps even a one-hit wonder, some elements from Mr. Pachelbel's canon. We'll see how it goes.
Bravo.
Great. We didn't light some more candles, but I'm going to play Margot's piece. Margot, do you want to tell us a little bit about your composition?
Okay. Okay, sure. Yes. I first I want to say I'm here in Enosburg. No, I'm in Grand Isle with my wonderful friend and sister Noni Stewart and my companion, longtime life companion, Jamie Lassell. We're at Noni and Bill's house. And Bill, and Bill. Oh, yes, Bill's right there. So we're here in Grand Isle, Vermont, and I'm really honored to hear all this music and to be with you today. And I was really honored to be asked to write a piece for the Hub's 1840 Estate pump organ. What? And I just want to say just a couple of things about the piece. It's my first piece for organ, and I really was really excited to write it. It is a course of an experiment, and what I heard. Doug sent me recordings of this wonderful organ, and I heard the workings of the instrument, the creaks and all of the sounds that were involved with actually creating the music, and that I hope will come out. That's what I wanted to write, something that would actually showcase those sounds, that what it takes to actually play these instruments. The piece that you'll hear is based on a set of sunset chords that Doug and I for the last couple of years have been sort of exchanging in the locales where we have been. We've had taken pictures of sunsets with the idea of creating a piece based on music that we would write for these sunsets. So I've used some of those in this, and I dedicate the piece to the Hub and to Doug and my mentor, Pauline Oliveros, who are two incredibly gifted musicians, composers, and peacemakers, because the Hub is dedicated to peacemaking. And in that same light, this piece for me is a sort of meditation, a reverent meditation that I composed in response to this crazy, cruel world that we find ourselves living in. I had to think of some, I had to just let those feelings out of restlessness and meditation, if you will. And hopefully that comes through in the music. It's the vibration of the chords, vibration of the instrument that I was really interested in highlighting. And I ask you, as you listen, to just let go of thinking and just live in the sounds of the organ for this piece. So thank you, Doug. I'm so forever grateful to you.
Yeah, thanks, Margot.
Thank you, Margot.
Wish me
Thanks,
luck.
Margot.
Woo, Margot.
All right. Let's give this a go. Margot, I don't think mentioned the title of the piece, which is Radiance.
Radiance?
Yeah.
It's called Radiance for organ.
Margot.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. Thank you all.
That was great.
Thank you, Doug.
Nice job, Doug,
Thank you.
You have a time check?
and Bill, and Anthony.
The folks got another 10 minutes in them?
Yeah,
8
sure.
minutes? All right, I know you have to leave it now.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Wonderful to be able to participate in this. Very blessed and happy Yuletide season and New Year. I hope to see all of you again.
Same to you.
Thank
Be safe.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony.
Nice fight.
Oh, thank you, you too. So, I got one last little piece. It was so nice to see the candles with the lights off last year, so maybe we want to turn the lights off. Can I ask you to hit, or Karen's got it. And then, Janice, do you know how to get these out here? Or let me do it, because you.
Thanks for letting the caramels go.
Yeah.
It's so nice. That one in Facebook didn't want to light.
It didn't want to light?
So I put the candle that we use to light the chalice in there.
All right, so we'll try and hurry this up.
Don't hurry, Doug, don't hurry. We started 10 minutes late. We all got 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add some.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
we're gonna have some
we have
additional-
10, relax.
Yes. So there's this 3 little movements. Margot mentioned that we have this practice of writing music as a sort of correspondence with one another, sort of both accountability, but also sort of a collaborative project. And Margot mentioned how her piece kind of emerged out of that. We wrote our 2 pieces completely independently from one another, but my piece starts at exactly the same sonority as her piece ends, which I thought was a nice. And yeah, it's also very much a piece about the specific sounds and resonances of this organ. It's quiet enough at times that I thought about maybe turning the heat off, but this room plummets in temperature as soon as you do that, so we're not
This will
compromise.
corresponding about these.
Thank you. Thank
Anyway,
you for that.
yeah, so it's 3 pretty short movements. The first 2 are maybe 3 or 4 minutes each, and then the last one is shorter. Thanks very much.
Yeah, Doug, that's gorgeous.
Thanks,
Give
Bill.
us some light.
Metaphorically or literally, do you want the lights back on?
Let there be light.
Let there be light.
Let there be light.
Light. Oh, the candlelight, but as Frank said, the candlelight was wonderful. It added so much to the hearing, your
Yeah.
piece.
Great job.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really nice piece there.
Thanks, Janice. Well, yeah, thanks to Bob's organ. Now our organ. Thanks.
Organ.
The organ,
So this, I think, sort of brings us to the end of the candlelight communion. Few things. There's some sweets to share. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's some sweets to share. There's some candles to take if you so desire to take a set home. It's also the end of the year for congregational members. We'll be sending out a little email hopefully this week to remind you to make a wee pledge, if you don't mind. Help us keep the lights on, so to speak. And we're very excited for the spring's Faith+Works series, which should be announced pretty soon. What we do know is that in the spring, they're always on the second Sundays. We're buttoning down the hatches, being less chaotic as a congregation. So it's always second Sundays of the month. January is our dear friend Robert Sember, who's recently back in the area after a year spent teaching in prisons in Alabama, which I think was a very profound experience for him, spiritually speaking. So he'll be talking on that work. February and March, we're still waiting for confirmations, but then in April, Kathy Cremens and Isabel Gonzalez, who are two poets who grew up in Newark, and whose poetry is very much about their love of the city of Newark in many respects, will give a poetry reading and a talk about how their faith shows up in their work. And then in June, our very own Darcy Hall will give a Faith+Works as well. That's what's on the calendar right now. Does anyone have anything else they want to add before we close?
Darcy's is going to be amazing. She's been studying the statues of the orange, and it's going to be amazing. Yeah, it turns out there's amazing statues in the orange. And also, you may have noticed a new church bulletin in your mailboxes. So church bulletin is it's great, and it's full of news and stories of the church and upcoming services. And if you'd like to contribute anything to the bulletin, just get in touch with me and Darcy. And so that's a new venture. And we start every church bulletin with what we call Pause to Ponder, which is some quotation from a Faith+Works that's been held here. So wisdom that's been shared with us right here in our own pulpit. So thank you.
Well, I'd like to say that in 2024, I hope that Doug, we can chat at some point and bring some new films to the congregation.
Yeah.
We just finished jurying for this our new season. There's some just amazing films. Yes. In particular, a former student of mine did a series of short pieces about Harriet Tubman that are just really lovely and worth seeing. And one of them won our top stellar award.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Love to see that.
So,
That's beautiful.
yeah, I'm very proud of him.
Yeah. It'll be on the calendar.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think what I would vote for are films and a potluck.
Yeah. That's how we've done it the last few
Yeah.
years. It's worked nicely.
Yes, exactly.
We could just see a film at the potluck. I mean, it's not like.
Yeah.
Dinner and a
Do two
movie.
things at
What's could be better?
And we should clean out our popcorn machine too.
Oh,
It's been a couple of years since it's been
great.
scrubbed up, so it needs some work. So I think we can reconvene in the parish hall for some snacks. Thanks, Cherie, for helping other event get tidied up. And another welcome to Margot as the newest member of the congregation, but also, you know, for other folks who come regularly, Marcial, looking at you a little bit, wanna think about joining our congregation. We're trying to, you know, do that, I guess. We're not a church. So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, please just speak to anyone who's here.
If we're done, we can come up and record.
Yeah, I'll turn that off. Anyway, thank you all.
Everybody. Thanks, everybody. Does everybody understand about the candle communion? Since it's time to go. So yeah, the flower communion is a tradition in Unitarian churches.
Thank you.
And then at the end of the service, you take a different flower home. So this is candle communion. So you bring a candlestick, but you take a different one home. So, or you could take your own one home if you really love it. But the idea is to exchange. So great.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I get it.
Margot, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
You like that?
I really did. It, you know, I could feel, and in Doug's piece as well, it was such a, there was such a difference from the more, you know, traditional music. But, you know, your reference to sunsets and the feeling of the instrument itself, it was almost like just, it was transformative. It was as though you were walking into the sound, and it was really wonderful.
Oh, wonderful. That's what I really wanted to get. You know, that
Yeah.
the sound of this instrument is amazing me because you use those foot pedals to pump. You just hear that air, the pulsation, and the vibration is so strong.
Boy, it just is so filling. It's such a big sound, and with a variety of sounds within it, and it was really neat.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. I'm so glad you felt it. That was wonderful.
Good seeing you. Happy holiday.
Happy holidays to you too. Thank you, Frank.
All
Take
right.
care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You should get another one.